Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Radia. So for today, I'd like to talk about morphemes. What is morphemes? Morphemes, a linguistic form which bears no partial phonetic semantics resemblance to any other form. In the other words, it's the smallest meaningful unit of the language. For example, in the word cats, it has two parts, cat and ass. Cat is one word and ass is the word as the plural structure in cat plus ass, right? So cat has a meaning and ass, you could say it has a meaning, or you could say it has a grammatical function. So both of them, it has meaningful. The study of the internal structure of the word cat reveals that it consists of two meaningful parts, so it consists of two morphemes. The next is isolating morphemes in words. The function of the isolating is to break the morpheme to get a new word. For this isolating, we can use the discovery procedures. Discovery procedures, it means that discover the separate parts because we can recall similar words with which to compare words under analysis. For the example, in the Bloomfield definition permits sieve of perceive, perceive, and deceive. For the word sieve, we can make the new words as a perceive, receive, and deceive. The next is Nida's principle. Principle 1. Principle 1 is the forms which are distinct in semantics and have an identical phonemics form in all their occurrence. This principle allows us to isolate the morpheme. There's two forms, as agentative and as comparative. Both of them bear a phonetic similarity, but no semantic similarity. As in agentative, such as writer, dancer, and singer, has a single phonetic sieve and the same meaning. But for the comparative, suffixes of higher, longer, and thinner. It is include three parts: prefixes, suffixes, and infixes. For prefixes, is included before stems. For suffixes, include after stem. And for infixes, include inside of another morpheme. And the next is Principle 2. Principle 2 is a form which have a common semantic distinctiveness but which differ in phonemic form. In the other word is meaning same with different pronouns. In English, one negative prefix appears in 5 phonologically determined forms: in, im, il, ir, ing, as in intangible, innumerable, innocent, immature, impossible, illegal, irreplaceable, and incompatible. It has the same negative meaning but different pronouns. And the next is Principle 3. Principle 3 is identifying forms as a single morpheme even their distribution is not phonologically determined and are in complementary distribution. Complementary distribution is if the environment in which one morpheme occurs is not an environment where any of the others can occur. This is use a singular or plural round. Use a subject-verb agreement. For example, as in word book and books, book is a singular form of the book and books, book plus as a plural of the book. Another example, she goes to school. Why we don't use a go, she go to school? Because when the subject is she, he, it, or singular, we can use the singular form, verb 1 plus s or es. So the she is used, she goes to school. And the next is Principle 4. Principle 4 is the two forms may be considered as belonging to a single morphemes, occurs when they are found in the very variation. Very variation if forms have the same meaning, are phonetically distinct, and may occur in exactly the same environment. In the other words, free variation is a different accents. For example, different accents between American and British accents. Paper, paper. Job, job. Trap, trap. And the next is lexical entry. Lexical entry is if the forms have the same meaning are phonetical. The lexical entry has three parts. The first is phonological forms, synthetic features, and semantics. For phonological forms is how to pronounce the word, and synthetic feature is a function of the word, and semantics is the meaning of the word. For example, in the word cat, in the phonological forms, it's a ki, I, and t. For the synthetic features, it's a plus noun and minus verb. And for semantics, the cat is a Felis domesticus. And the next is subcategorization frame. Subcategorization frame which gives the environment in which the morpheme occurs. For example, if it is the singular of the cat is cat, and for the plural is a cats plus s. So the plus s is one of the simple example of the subcategorization frame. Another example, in the child and the children. Child is the singular as the child, and the children as a plural of the child. And the next is elsewhere condition. Elsewhere condition is about meaning more specific. For the example, in the word person and people, persons is more specific because in the people, we don't know how many people on there. But for the person, we have to include the number of the person on there. And the next is Principle 5. Principle 5 is the condition under which homophones forms are identified as the same or different morphemes. For this principle, it has two parts. The first is single morphemes and multiple morphemes. For single morphemes, it has the same sound but different meaning and different morphemes. For example, face, fast, past. And the second is multiple morpheme. Multiple morpheme, it means that the same sound, same morpheme, but different meaning. For example, fish. Principle 6 is a morpheme is isolatable if it occurs under the following conditions. First, in isolation. 2, in multiple combinations. 3, in a single combination. For the condition 1 of the principle 6 is allow us to isolate as morphemes such form as girls, cat, play, work, out, he, that, and hey, which all occurs in isolation provided there is no way of analyzing the forms into smaller morphemes as in the case with this example. Next is condition 2 allows us to isolate forms such as agentative as morphemes. This never occurs in isolations, but it does occur with forms that occur in isolation as dance, play, work in dancer, player, and worker. And the last condition is condition 3. Condition 3 is permits us to isolate the morpheme cran in cranberry. Cran occurs just in the single combination, but the element with which it is combined, berry, occurs in isolation and in combination with other constituents such as strawberry, blueberry, and raspberry. And the next is constituent structure. As we know, the word is not necessary as a simple containing of morphemes. In words of 3 or more morphemes, some pairs of morphemes are more closely related than the other. We can use tree structure to make or identify word till smallest unit of morpheme. Okay, for the example, in the word imperfection as a noun, we can use tree structure to see the smallest unit of the morpheme. The first, we can delete the ion in the last letter, and if it is the ion is deleted, it could be imperfect. Imperfect is an adjective, and for the adjective, we can delete the im and the suffixes, so we can get the perfect only. Perfect is a adjective, so perfect is the smallest unit of morpheme in the word of imperfections. Okay, that's all for my explanation. I hope you can learn in this video. Thanks for watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you and bye.